Nintendo came out swinging today, especially if you like RPGs and adventure games. The Nintendo Direct just concluded, so I'm going to cover some of the big highlights in the Nintendo Direct. If you want to watch the whole thing, feel free. In the description, I will put a link directly to the Nintendo Direct stream so you can watch the entire 40-minute presentation. First off, make sure to like and subscribe. I really appreciate your support, guys. This channel is growing faster than I ever hoped. We're almost to 5,000 subscribers, and I would appreciate your support. So first off, they immediately surprised everyone with a brand new Mario and Luigi titled Mario and Luigi Brothership, and it looks great. We don't really have a lot of grasp on the story so far, but if you remember the old Mario and Luigi games, which has been almost a decade since the last one came out, it's following the same formula of a mixture between platforming, looks like some teamwork, maybe even some co-op involved, but also the RPG, JRPG battle system that a lot of people love from the series. So this is looking really cool. They showcased again the expansion they made to the Nintendo World Championship NES edition. This is the fabled title that the actual cartridge is worth tens of thousands of dollars. Basically, they remixed the original games that were in the original championship edition for Nintendo and expanded it a lot more. You have time attack, gameplay modes, looks like some type of like battle royale type of system. They did a lot. I mean, the real championship edition was very bare bones because it was meant for like a tournament. It wasn't meant as an actual game, but since its notoriety is so huge, they expanded a lot, and this looks pretty interesting. Fairy Tail has a brand new game. If you enjoy Fairy Tail, this is basically taking the last arc in the mainline Fairy Tail anime and turning it into an action RPG adventure game. It looks okay. Fantasian is a interesting game because it was made by one of the original creators of Final Fantasy, so it already has a bit of my attention. I will say that the trailer didn't excite me all that much, but it seemed interesting. I'm willing to check it out when we get more information. The Looney Tunes Wacky World of Sports is what you expect. It's basically a sports compilation game with all your favorite Looney Tunes characters. It actually looked kind of fun. This is a big one, at least for this channel. So many people were so curious on what Farmagia was going to be about. If you guys don't know, it's being made by Marvelous, the guys who make all the Story of Seasons and Rune Factory games. And Farmagia was going to follow that same path, but there was no gameplay. We had an animated trailer, and it was being animated, and the characters are being designed by the guy who made Fairy Tail. So a lot of people were excited. But we finally saw some gameplay, and honestly, it looks pretty interesting. Basically, it is I would say a monster collector RPG type of game. There are farming elements because it is from Marvelous, but it seems like a lot of it's around trying to build up monsters to fight in a group setting. You have a party, and there's a lot of different factors. So it's not Rune Factory. It's not Story of Seasons. It's kind of like a mixture of like Monster Rancher, if you remember that game, and Rune Factory kind of put together in a battle system to fight the monsters and, you know, join in grand battles. And the farming aspect is designed to kind of raise the monsters and, you know, make them stronger. So I can't wait to see a lot more of this game, to be very honest, and I'm already intrigued. Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake. This was something that's been announced and people have been looking forward to for a very, very long time. And it was also rumored that we're going to get a Dragon Quest 1 and 2 HD 2D remake, but it was never confirmed. Well, all of our dreams have been answered. We finally know that Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake is coming out in November, and the 2 and 1 remake in HD 2D is coming out next year. If you've never played any of the old Dragon Quest games, they're an absolute joy. I can't wait until they decide to do with 4, 5, and 6 when it comes to Dragon Quest, but I'm sure it's going to depend on how well these sell, so hopefully they do well. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom trailer was announced, and this one's very interesting. And I can see a lot of people being either excited or not excited for this game for a couple of reasons. The thing is, everyone liked the old Legend of Zelda game, the one that kind of had this art style of like a 2D, 3D. It almost looks like a toy version of Link. It's following that type of art style, but this time around, it's a completely original title, and Link is the one being captured, and Zelda is the one trying to save Link. But they wanted to change the gameplay up, so instead of just turning Zelda into a Link stand-in and just have her, attack with a weapon, they're actually doing more puzzle elements. So she has a wand that she could copy certain items in the world and then use those items to either battle the enemies or get around the environment or solve puzzles. So this is definitely going to be more of a thinking man's Zelda type of game, but it's kind of neat having a brand new title where Zelda is the actual hero, but we don't talk about those CDI ones. Unless you really want to look those up, but I highly suggest not to.
You've killed me!
Good.
The celebrated indie game called Stray is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Obviously, there's going to be a graphical downgrade from coming from PlayStation to Switch, but honestly, it looked pretty good. And from everything that people told me, Stray was an excellent game. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people who don't own a PlayStation who are going to pick this up. Romancing Saga 2. So this time around, they're keeping the system of being a strategic turn-based type of battler system that you get to choose where direction you want to go and how to, spread your empire or influence. You got to take down these heroes that turn bad, things of that nature. The Romancing Saga games are always a bit hit or miss when it comes to me. So I'm looking forward to this one, and hopefully it's a really cool one. Metroid Prime 4. The full title is called Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. We finally got our first look at the game. It looks great. To be very honest, it looks absolutely beautiful, especially on the technology of the Nintendo Switch. I was almost suspecting that maybe when they announced the successor to the Switch, that was going to be like the big game for that one. It still may be. I get a feeling that they'll probably bring it to whatever the Switch successor is going to be. But since it's coming out for the Nintendo Switch, the game looks what you expect from a Prime 4. It's the same type of gameplay. The environments look expanded. It looks fast and fluid. It's everything that people wanted and waited for almost 5-6 years since they made that initial announcement. It feels like they announced a new Metroid Prime when the Switch first launched, and everyone was just waiting every single year for a brand new Prime. And they finally did it. It's coming out next year. Of course, they didn't give a specific date next year, so who knows? But at least we finally got the actual gameplay, and I'm extremely excited for this. What are your favorite announcements in this Nintendo showcase? Let me know in the comment section below, especially if it's a game that I didn't mention here, because there were so many games, big and small, announced. Either way, it was very impressive showing by Nintendo. I'm looking forward to a lot of these games, and yeah, it was great. Thanks for being awesome.